Hello and welcome to Potterwatch from Page to Screen, episode 10. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Lucy.
Today we'll finally be finding out who this Nicholas Flamel chap is, and we'll be helping Hagrid out of a sticky situation.
Last time we celebrated Christmas 3 months early and obsessed over the Mirror of Erised, but before we begin, let's have our questions from out of the sorting hat.
Dun, dun, dun.
Today I'll have the Harry Potter question and Elizabeth's will be completely random.
Bum,
So
bum.
Elizabeth, what is your question?
Okay.
That sounded like I was really bored. What is your question?
Your lame non-Harry Potter question.
Who wants this?
Yeah. Okay, so this is a weird one. Other plants exist, but you're only allowed to see one type of plant for the rest of your life. What would it be?
What?
I don't know how I came up with this.
Can I feel other plants?
Yep. Yeah,
So
they're
like,
still
if I'm
there.
walking through a field,
Like, if you say that, you know, you want to see grass for the rest of your life, trees still exist, so you might just randomly bump into a tree.
so if I didn't choose grass
Yeah.
and I was in a field, would it just be like a field of mud?
It would look like it was mud,
But
but
I would feel the grass.
but it would be with grass. Yeah, but you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know about it. I don't know how I thought of this question. It's
You
really
do
weird.
first. Do you have an answer?
Oh gosh, I think I would pick trees, not because I'm scared that I would
But do
bump
we
into
have
them.
to have specific? Like, do you have to choose a specific tree, or are we going?
I
general?
think you can like do like
Generalise.
trees, flowers, bushes,
Algae.
sea creatures.
Yeah. Coral.
Yeah, I
Um,
pick seaweed, grass.
That's
You know,
tricky.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I do love like the leaves. I feel like there's a lot of variety in trees.
Yeah.
Such a weird question.
I know. When I was doing these questions, when I thought of the idea of like, well, my mum kind of suggested it, and then I kind of said,
Stole it.
"Oh, it's like out of the sorting hat." I was just like snowballing all of these questions. Like they're really weird ones in there. So yeah, I think I would pick trees. I'd either pick trees or flowers, but I think trees are like I'm a tree person.
Do like hedges count as trees?
No.
Okay,
Bushes
so like
and
hedges and
hedges,
bushes
yeah.
are separate.
Yeah, that's separate. So, if you don't pick hedges or bushes, you could like see into anywhere because there's no
Yeah,
hedges.
I feel like that would also make me really uncomfortable if I was like in some private garden.
Yeah.
Wait, is it just in this scenario? Is it just me who can only see one plant?
It only applies to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Other people have no idea what's going on.
Okay. I mean, I guess I'd go with trees.
Yeah.
They do have most diversity, and like I love a forest.
Yeah,
I can't
that's
imagine
what-
not
Yeah.
being able to like go for a walk in the forest
Yeah.
/ wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also if I was like having a fire and I didn't pick trees, would I be able to see the logs?
Ooh, that's a good
And
question.
like if I have a house made of wood or a coffee table made of wood, can I see the coffee table?
That would be so
Like-
weird.
Or like the timbers in your house?
Ooh, I didn't think about that. And then, like, if you've got woodworm, you would just see floating worms everywhere.
Ew,
Oh,
yeah.
that would be uncomfortable. That'd be kind of cool, though, to like. So I'm just having a look around my house. Like, the windows would be floating.
Yeah.
I have a cabinet. I always have to like look through to see where the DVD I want is.
Oh yeah.
Because
You can just
there's
see all
like
the
yeah, I
DVDs.
could just see all the DVDs.
Oh, although I like paint on big like flat bits of wood a lot, so I'd just be
Yeah,
painting on nothing.
On nothing. That would be kind of cool.
I feel like I'd go for trees.
Yeah, I think I would probably go.
Mainly for walks in the wood.
Yeah, yeah. A pause in a walk in the wood.
Quiet. I was listening to that when I was washing up yesterday.
Oh,
the
nice.
Matilda soundtrack.
Uh,
Gets me very
I sing
nostalgic.
quiet for Matilda if I'm trying to get her to have a nap in the car.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. Do you remember when she was just born? I was telling you, I was like, oh, and her name is Matilda, and I've just been singing Quiet, and I was crying as I was singing Quiet.
Uh,
Oh dear. Anyway,
okay.
right.
Well, that was a very interesting
Thanks.
discussion.
It's weird. Anyway.
Okay, my Harry Potter question
Hmm.
is, who do you think... Well, this is less of a question and more of a discussion, I
Okay.
guess.
Okay, that's fine.
Who do you think should have raised Harry?
Ooh, okay, like an alternative reality type
Yeah.
situation.
See, obviously... Yeah, so let's say his parents are still dead. Like, his parents died.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But
let's say for this
somebody else.
situation, the whole, like, charm of, like, you have to be with your family for,
Right.
like, to be safe doesn't apply.
Right, okay.
Because obviously that's, like, the reason.
Yeah. That's the whole reason why he's
That's the
with
whole
them.
point. Although another... Okay, this is why I'm saying it's a bit more of a discussion than a question. If that hadn't have been a thing, do you think he still would have ended up with the Dursleys or not?
No. No, I don't think. I think Dumbledore would have sent him to a probably a Muggle family, or maybe a Muggle family with like a wizard child or something, a family
Right.
who didn't really know about him or his
Yeah.
famousness, who wouldn't put him in that kind of situation,
Yeah.
they wouldn't be around with other wizards, because I do agree with Dumbledore that it was almost kinder to Harry for him to have a normal upbringing and not have that kind
Yeah.
of special
Even though
treatment.
he obviously didn't have a normal upbringing.
Well,
But
yeah,
yeah.
exactly, yeah, but in good circumstances he would have,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think it would have been a Muggle, somebody who were Muggles, but that's not really interesting because we don't really know many, if not any, Muggles in the Harry Potter
Yeah.
universe. So if
Mrs.
we're
Fig.
talking, yeah, Mrs. Fig. Well, I think she would have been quite a good guardian. She sounded
That's
pretty
true.
cool, but she was
Yeah.
like connected to the magical
Yeah.
community, wasn't she? So he would still have had that kind of like, ooh,
I
chosen
mean,
one.
as a what do they call it? What is it? Wolf Wolf Star, is that what they call it?
Oh, Sirius
As a
and Remus.
yeah. As a Remus Sirius lover, I'm just like, just give him just Remus
Yeah.
and Sirius.
Yeah, I mean, I do like I do like Cool Star quite a bit. I must agree with that. But yeah, I do think that that is very valid. I think if had Sirius not been like convicted of mass murder, I think he would have been really good
Yeah.
for Harry. I think actually though Lupin would have been a much better
Yes.
father.
I
Not
think
that
the
Sirius
balance
is.
of both of them, like I don't know.
That's why Wolfstar works so well, because they're so different. The dynamic would be very whole. It's like two halves of a whole
Yeah.
with them. Yeah. If no one knows what we're talking about, so Wolfstar is the ship or relationship, well, fictional, I guess. But in terms of the Harry Potter universe, fictional relationship between Sirius and Remus. And some people say it's a talk about it in a romantic way. Some people talk about it in a friendship way.
Bromance.
Yeah, bromance way, whatever you want.
Even just them kind of being like
yeah, just like flatmates or
just like
something.
flatmates who look
Yeah,
after him.
yeah.
It just
But
makes me so happy.
I like to think about it in all different. I think it's interesting in
That's
all of the
what's fun
different
about it is that
aspects.
it isn't canon. So
Yeah,
you can
it's
just,
not real.
It
You
can
can
just be whatever you want.
Yeah,
Harry
exactly.
Potter doesn't exist, so funnily
Yeah.
enough, you can make up whatever you want because it's not real.
It's fantasy.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, so yeah, I think their dynamic works really well. I think that would be kind of what Lily and James would be like. I think like James is like the
Oh.
kind of I know, I'm sorry.
It's so sad.
Kind of like James is the kind of cool uncle type character, like not amazing in like role model material, you know, like a bit mischievous, you know,
Yeah.
bit rule breaky, and then Lily is there with like the well, you got to do this,
Hmm.
etc. I think they would have been a perfect team. So I think
Yeah.
Wolfstar is a good call there.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I would really like to know how Harry would have turned out if he was like, and here's my like Drarry thing coming in. Um, if he was like Draco's brother, like if he was
Mm.
raised
Yeah, or just
in the
by
Malfoy
a like
household,
super
super pure
what
blood,
is it?
like
Like the is it like 28?
oh yeah, part of the
Am I making up
sacred
that
10 of
number?
28. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's 28. Yeah, super
Like
like
pure blood families.
yeah.
Hmm.
If he was like Crab's friend,
That would have been
brother,
really
or
interesting as well because of the whole thing with like them believing that he was the new Dark Lord.
yes, yeah, and he might have believed that himself.
Yeah.
He might have become that by osmosis.
Yeah.
It's like, your belief of like everyone, well, and I believe it to an extent as well, like
Mm.
everyone, I think you kind of have to. Everyone has like your experiences like build you as a character.
Mm. Yeah, we were saying this in the Draco Malfoy episode, weren't we?
Yeah,
Like,
hmm.
I
And me and
mostly
my
think
mum
that it
shot
is.
you down completely. I'm gonna still feel really bad about that. I know we didn't
Yeah.
mean to.
Yeah, yeah, no, of course. Yeah. Yeah, because I think it is like almost.
Like
But I mean, it's
100%
very.
that.
This is going on a total tangent now, but it's interesting studying like child language acquisition
Mhm.
and stuff.
Mhm.
All the theories about like how much is nature and nurture.
Mhm.
I mean, at the end
Yeah.
of the day, it's a mix of both.
Yeah.
But I think nurture is the most important because that's your beliefs, that's your
Yeah.
values.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people, have like changes of mind every so often, like, oh,
Mm.
like, I don't know, say your parents really conservative, but then you turn out to be part of the LGBTQ plus community or something, and
Mhm.
so you have like a very conservative upbringing, but then you have this massive change of mind, and that can be really strange for a person because those ideas and those thoughts that your parents are having are your own because they're teaching
Mhm.
you, they're talking
Yeah.
about it, etc. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting to think
Mm.
about someone's upbringing in that way. I
Mhm.
really like that subject. So yeah, I think that would be interesting to see what Harry would be like.
What about the Weasleys? Imagine if he was
Yeah.
brought up by the Weasleys.
I think he would have been terrible in the Weasley household, actually.
Really?
Yeah, because I think Molly would have completely gone overboard.
Mm.
I think she would have ignored a lot of her other children. I'm not saying
I
like
mean, to be
Molly's
fair, it's bad
terrible,
enough
but
him not even being her adopted son.
yeah, I mean, like, we've just read the Christmas thing,
Hmm.
and Fred and George have said, oh, she did your jumper better than ours. She
Yeah.
obviously
Although I
makes
guess I
more
guess that
effort.
is partially that's
That's
almost
just what
partially the
people
fact that
do.
it's not her son. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just what people do.
We
But
always
I
make more of
think
an effort,
like
but
there's that like, ooh, savior of the universe, like
yeah,
yeah, defeater of
for
Voldemort,
sure.
like gotta treat him nicely. So, but I don't know. I like to think that Molly and Arthur would be not that.
Treat him that differently.
Yeah, not treating him differently, but I do think that that there would be even like subconsciously
Yeah.
a bias there.
Yeah. That's very true.
I want to see, and I know that I've asked this before in the Draco Malfoy episode, but I really want to see what Draco would be like as a member of the Weasley household.
Mm.
That would be really interesting.
You mean like from day one,
From
like?
day one, like his, it's like a Harry Potter situation. Like his
Hmm.
parents die, he's up for adoption. The Weasleys, for some reason, don't think they have enough children already. They're kind people. They bring people in. No one wants him because he's part of like this horrible pure blood family, and they're like, okay,
Mm.
we'll take him, and off they go. That would be so
Mm.
interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think he'd be completely different.
Yeah, no, I purely based on the whole like nature nurture
Yeah.
thing, he'd just be like one of the
Yeah.
Weasleys.
I think he would be very much like Ron, actually.
Yeah.
Very similar to Ron. I think Ron and Malfoy have way more similarities than they do
Mm.
differences.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I think that's why they have such a volatile relationship. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
they always end up in like fist fights.
Yeah.
Which, oh, that's a bit of a spoiler for this episode. Whereas Harry and Malfoy just kind of
It's like
have a go at each
angst.
other. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Well, we'll start for Harry's second parents.
yeah,
Here we go. That's our conclusion, I guess.
I guess so.
Yeah. I don't think there'd be many other better people to bring Harry up,
No.
especially Lupin.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, it's just
Parched.
yeah. Okay, so let's get into it. That was weird. Let's get
Yeah,
stuck in.
get into it.
Oh, I haven't even got the book. Hold on, let me get the book.
Oh, I don't know if I have my copy of the book either. There we go, that would help.
Yeah. Always helps having the source material in front of you. Do you remember our first episode when we were like completely lost and like basically just quoting the whole book because I hadn't like done any research? Oh dear. I like to think we've come very far, but maybe we haven't. I don't know. I think we've really improved.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. So chapter 13 is actually called Nicholas Flamel. So it's pretty clear from the first word, really, what it's going to be about. It said in the first paragraph that Harry's been having nightmares about the Mirror of Erised, and this is a quote. So Hermione was, quote, torn between horror at the idea of Harry being out of bed, roaming the school 3 nights in a row, if Filch had caught you, and disappointment that he hadn't at least found out who Nicholas Flamel was, which I think is very it's like Hermione's character in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Like caught between breaking the rules and not finding out more information. I was thinking about you with the use of brackets there as well. I was like, oh, that's useful. That's a cool use of brackets.
I hate brackets. I hate them so much.
I thought you really liked them because of
No,
Stephen
because
King.
of Stephen King.
Yeah.
No, I hated brackets until I read Stephen King, and he uses them interestingly.
He like
and that's
converted
why he like was the only reason that I can now use brackets in like English creative writing and stuff, because I just hate them.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
I
know
use
why.
dashes, like hyphens, way
Yeah.
more.
Brackets just feel very primary school,
Yes.
very unnecessary, and
Yeah.
very like clunky.
Yeah.
You know? Unless it's for like a date or like if it's in
Uh-huh.
like academic writing. But there's something about brackets in like stories that just, I don't know, really throws me off. I really hate
Yeah.
them.
All right.
Anyway, no brackets in the movies, so
Yeah,
there's a
there we
point
go.
there.
Obviously, in the movie, we only have one Quidditch game in the whole thing, whereas in the book they have the whole like inter-house like championship. So we're coming up to the second game. Oh no, is it the third? I can't remember, but Harry's second game anyway. They've been practicing like even harder than ever because the like points are set up in the way that if they won their next match against Hufflepuff, they'd be ahead of Slytherin. Yeah, they'd be ahead of Slytherin in the House Championship for the first time in 7 years. So I like that. I never really got the whole like way that worked. But I like getting those like insights that you don't really get
Yeah.
in the films.
Yeah.
They find out that Snape is refereeing this next Quidditch match. And while the team is concerned about Snape docking points for unfair reasons, Harry and the gang are obviously worried about him being in a prime position for harming Harry, because obviously the last game Harry was in, they think that Snape was trying to like knock him off his broom, basically. There's this lovely bit of Ron and Hermione trying to convince Harry not to play. So I thought I'd read that from the book. Don't play, said Hermione at once. Say you're ill, said Ron. Pretend to break your leg, Hermione suggested. Really break your leg, said Ron. I can't, said Harry. There isn't a reserve seeker. If I back out, Gryffindor can't play at all. So obviously, as you just heard there, Harry can't really back out, so he's just trying to not think about it. So this the bit that comes in next, we've already discussed this slightly, and I'll link it. I'll make a note to link it again. I'm pretty sure I've linked it in one of our previous ones, but I'll link it again. So it's the deleted scene where Neville comes in with being under the influence of a leg locker curse from Malfoy.
Under the influence makes it sound like he's been like chugging fire whiskey in the common room.
I don't really know how else to put it. I don't know how else to put it. Being cursed by the leg locker curse? I don't know.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we can kind of do a comparison because of the deleted scene, because that exists. So in the film, if we take that is part of the film.
That's a quick little sub question, which I think I may have possibly asked before. Also, maybe interesting if anyone who has not read the books is listening. Do you or do people take deleted scenes as canon?
I don't.
You don't?
No. I never have, because I'm like, well, that's obviously
They're
not
deleted.
part of... Yeah. If J.K. Rowling writes a paragraph and then goes, oh, that's rubbish, and deletes it, that's not part of the narrative. So
That's true, I never thought about it like that. Yeah. It's like... Yeah.
But I do, with Lord of the Rings, I do take it as canon.
Oh, like the extended editions?
Yeah, because for me,
the
extended editions are the only ones worth watching.
Yeah, there's a difference between director's cut and...
Yeah.
If they did a director's cut of Harry Potter, I would take the director's cut as
True.
canon.
Yeah.
But there are some scenes that are alternate deleted scenes, you know?
Oh, that's true.
And then it just doesn't make sense to take it as canon.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just...
Well, it's an interesting question. Yeah. It would be interesting to see if anyone else has any opinions on that, how other people feel about that. If you want to comment on any of our pages, that would be really interesting to find out. So, the only real difference in the deleted scene is that it takes place in the film. It takes place in the Great Hall, and in the book, it takes place in the Gryffindor common room. Which I find quite interesting, because in the Great Hall everyone's laughing at him, and then I was like, oh, so in the Great Gryffindor common room probably no one's laughing at him, but literally everyone's laughing at him still in the Gryffindor common room, which shows how nice they are. So yes, that's the only real difference, but I'll explain what happens in case you haven't or don't want to watch the deleted scene. So Neville comes in. He's had the leg locker curse put on him by Malfoy, and Harry, Hermione and Ron try and help him. Hermione quickly performs the counter curse, and Neville's really upset. He's like, oh, that this is the last thing I need, kind of thing. I'm already a terrible wizard as it is, kind of thing. And Harry's trying to cheer him up by giving him a chocolate frog. And Neville says, so this is Harry giving him the chocolate frog. You're worth 12 of Malfoy, Harry said. The Sorting Hat chose you for Gryffindor, didn't it? And where's Malfoy? In stinking Slytherin. Neville's lips twitched in a weak smile as he unwrapped the frog. Thanks, Harry. I think I'll go to bed. Do you want the card? You collect them, don't you? Do you like my Neville voice? I'm sorry. I always do it as a high voice. Then Harry's like, oh yeah, okay. He takes the card and he looks and he's like, Dumbledore again. But he reads Nicholas Flamel's.
I think it's like the Dumbledore's the pink, the with chocolate frog card equivalent of the pink Mento
Yes, yeah, that's true. Yeah, or like the red wine gum,
Yeah, yeah,
or the what else, like with Chewits, that's always like red, isn't it?
mm,
Red sweets in general.
yeah.
Yeah. It's always like Dumbledore is the one that you always get. I think Ron said in like right at the start of the book, well, when they were in the Hogwarts Express, he was like, "Oh, I've got about 100 of him." Uh,
Doesn't he say six, or is that the movie? He says six.
oh yeah, oh yeah. He's like,
In the movie,
"I've
it's
got
six.
about
I'm not
six of
100%
him."
sure.
I think
I've got
so.
yeah. I'm not 100% sure how it is in the book, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's like oh yeah,
loads
I've got
basically.
loads. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So seeing Nicholas Flamel's name on the back, he reads. I'll just read the whole thing when he finds the name. Um, I found him, he whispered. I found Flamel. I told you I'd read the name somewhere before. I read it on the train coming here. Listen to this. Professor Dumbledore is particularly famous for his defeat of the Dark Wizard Grindelwald in 1945, for his discovery of the 12 uses of dragon's blood, and his work on alchemy with his partner Nicholas Flamel. Oh, I was doing really well there, and then I messed up. So then, with the deleted scene, Hermione runs out of the Great Hall, and Harry and Ron follow after. I think, or
Hmm.
they just kind of watch as she runs and don't do anything. I can't remember. I should have watched it before doing this, but in the book, she just goes, "Oh my gosh, I remember something," and goes up and gets the book from her dorm room.
Mm.
Um, there's very similar lines here. She's like, "Oh, I took this out for a bit of light reading." She said, "I got this out of the library weeks ago for a bit of light reading." And then obviously in the film, Ron has that really famous line like, "This is light." But in the book, he only says light.
Hmm.
So it's very similar. I think they did that. I think they did this whole scene really, really nicely, actually.
Mm.
And then I just thought I would. Oh, and by the way, oh yeah, I was just gonna say as well that there's a very similar bit where in the film Hermione shushes Ron because they're in the library, and Harry kind of shushes him as well. But in the book,
Mm.
Hermione told him to be quiet until she'd looked something up. So I thought that was quite a nice, like,
Mm.
kind of detail that they kind of kept
Yeah,
just by them
slightly
being in the
different.
library. Yeah.
Mm.
Then I thought I'd read what she found in the book. So it says, the ancient study of alchemy is concerned with making the Philosopher's Stone, a legendary substance with astonishing powers. The stone will transform any metal into pure gold. It also produces the elixir of life, which will make the drinker immortal. There have been many...
Immortal? It means you'll never die. I know what it means.
Shh! I love that
Anyway,
scene.
sorry, continue.
I think that scene was the one of the ones that they did as like a group audition, like after they'd
Hmm.
kind of been
Like a
established
screen
as having the
test.
parts. Yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
screen
yeah.
test. Yeah, that's kind of fun. I think you could probably watch that on
Yeah,
YouTube.
I've seen that all over. Yeah, it's pretty easy to
I
find.
should link that as well.
They call it Sorcerer's Stone, though, don't they?
Yeah,
In the screen test.
yeah. That's so weird to think about. Sorcerer's Stone. Anyway, before I was rudely interrupted, I'll carry on. There have been many reports of the Philosopher's Stone over the centuries, but the only stone currently in existence belongs to Mr. Nicholas Flamel, the noted alchemist and opera lover. Or an
I love bits
important
like that
part.
are just like
Yeah, just
like,
completely random.
unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favourite bits in the fifth book is when they get on the night bus and there's the lady who spills her bag and it's like frog spawn and custard creams and something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. I think she's J.K. Rowling has a lot of strength in world building in like those tiny details. Mr. Flamel, who celebrated his 665th birthday last year, enjoys a quiet life in Devon with his wife, Perenelle, 658. So that's quite nice to read the whole passage instead of getting the condensed down version like they do in the film.
Is that's not the sorry, this is like backtracking a little bit. On the back of Dumbledore's chocolate frog card, does it match the book? Like the actual one you get?
Oh, I think so. It would be
Probably.
weird for it not to.
Yeah.
I don't have my chocolate frog cards to hand at the moment.
Should I grab mine?
Yeah. Do you have
It's totally
Dumbledore?
cool. Yeah, let me go grab
I
it.
don't have Dumbledore, so I don't know why I even mentioned it. Yeah. Is it Richard or Michael?
Oh, Michael.
Lame.
Yeah. There he is. It says, brilliant and often controversial headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, Albus Dumbledore is most famous for his defeat of Grindelwald and his steadfast championing of Harry Potter, the boy who lived. Dumbledore's self-proclaimed proudest achievement, however, was featuring on a famous wizard's chocolate frog card. Oh.
What?
It doesn't mention it. That's strange. It doesn't mention.
Yeah, I thought it would be like almost exactly the same.
Yeah, that's really odd.
Weird.
I guess it's not it. This is like a. I mean, it's not a film prop, but it's from the studio tour, and I guess in the films, they don't have the chocolate frog card, do they?
Yeah, I mean, only in a deleted scene. So,
oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, Harry sees a Dumbledore. Does he see? Oh, do you see Dumbledore in the card? Oh, I can't remember now.
What do you
It's
mean?
been so long. I'm just because he sees like he gets a chocolate frog in the scene, in the sweets scene, and he's like,
train?
oh, he's gone, and Ron's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
of course he's gone.
Yeah.
So I think we do get a really
You
good
do.
image of that.
You just don't see the back.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, that's backtracked a lot.
No, that's fine.
Really strange.
Yeah, it's slightly disappointing. No, I'm not sure if I want to get Dumbledore.
You probably won't because they've all been like changed.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they even do Dumbledore anymore. Anyway.
I hope they would. Anyway, I hope they're just expanding because I want to like gotta
get all
catch
the full
'em all.
founders and stuff.
Chocolate frog. Anyway, Harry once and for all. So after they read that in the book, it like moves on to Quidditch again. So Harry decides like once and for all like he's gonna play in this Quidditch match, regardless of Snape being like able to harm him, apparently. And he says, quote, "It'll really wipe the smiles off their faces if we win. Just as long as we're not wiping you off the pitch," said Hermione. I don't know, the more I thought about that, the less I liked that line. It's a bit of a grotesque line. Before the match, I thought this was quite a nice little bit with for all the Hermione shippers out there for you. Hermione and Ron, like they're constantly bickering.
I've recently, another bit of a tangent, but I've recently decided that I quite like Hermione and Ron because and this is what made me change my mind because I also used to be like Hermione and Ron, like you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. It's just yeah, because I was like they're bickering all the time, but then I realised that like it's all from Harry's point of view, and you have all the time where like Harry isn't around, where it's just them that you never see, and Harry's also really unobservant.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
I still don't love them, and I still don't think that they would have got married and had kids.
I don't think
But
they
I've
would have
grown
I don't think they
I've
would
grown
have
to like them just as a as a
Yeah,
couple
I
for
actually
some
I
time.
like them as a temporary like high
Yeah,
school romance couple, or
yeah,
like I guess post-war romance
yeah.
couple. I like them as that. I
Mm,
don't like them like I don't not like them as a relationship altogether. I just don't think
mm,
that they would be endgame.
mm.
But I totally accept that that's only my opinion, and other people,
Like we keep saying, it's all made
yeah,
up. You can
you can
think what you
think what you
want.
like.
They're
Like,
fictional characters. You can
yeah.
literally make it up.
Yeah, I like the idea of all three of the trio.
Just
Uh,
being friends.
yeah, just being friends,
Hmm
like marrying off different things. It's like
hmm
with Friends, the TV program. I know you don't watch it, but it always really annoyed me
That they
that
all like get married.
yeah, that a lot of them get together.
Hmm
I always preferred. I mean, I really like Monica and Chandler, but I always preferred Phoebe's relationship because her husband isn't part of their
Friends.
dynamic. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
their friendship group. So yeah,
hmm
I thought that would have been more interesting, really.
Mm.
Um, anyway, so I'm going to quote this bit now before we get sidetracked
Yeah.
again. So Hermione and Ron are like trying to protect Harry the best they can. So this is that. Now don't forget, it's locomotor mortis, Hermione muttered as Ron slipped his wand up his sleeve. I know, Ron snapped. Don't nag. And then they find out that Harry finds out that Dumbledore's come to watch the match. Fred says, even blimey, Dumbledore's come to watch, which obviously makes Harry feel a lot better.
Mm.
Because he's like, well, Snape would be an idiot if he did
Yeah.
anything to any student
hmm
under Dumbledore's nose.
But
So
particularly Harry because.
yeah, I don't want to say, I don't want to say, but yeah, particularly Harry. Um, so while the match starts, slightly before and while it like begins, Malfoy comes to like watch it with Hermione and Ron to kind of get under their skin, and Neville's near them as well. Um, I was just thought I'd read the many lovely ways in which Malfoy gets under their skin, because he's just such a little so and so. Here we go. Wonder how long Potter's going to stay on his broom this time. Anyone want to bet? What about you, Weasley? Blah de blah. You know how I think they choose people for the Gryffindor team? Said Malfoy loudly a few minutes later. It's people they feel sorry for. See, there's Potter, who's got no parents. Then there's the Weasleys, who've got no money. You should be on the team, Longbottom. You've got no brains.
It makes me really
It's
sad. Like,
really,
his parents were literally murdered, and he's like, "Oh,
yeah,
you've got no parents."
yeah.
Like what?
Basically, he's like he's terrible. He's a terrible person at this point.
Mm.
And then Neville like repeats Harry's words back at Malfoy. I'm worth 12
Oh.
of you, Malfoy, he stammered. Malfoy, Crabbe and Goyle howled with laughter, but Ron, still not daring to take his eyes from the game, said, You tell him, Neville. Longbottom, if brains were gold, you'd be poorer than Weasley, and that's saying something. Sorry. I don't mean to laugh at that. I mean, he's very imaginative. You've got to give him something.
Mm.
But I mean, they're very mean.
Mm.
Obviously, you don't have to be. You don't have to have me tell you that.
Mm.
So then Harry suddenly goes into a spectacular dive, and so Malfoy says, "You're in luck, Weasley. Potter's obviously spotted some money on the ground." Sorry, I just still don't know why I'm laughing. It's not funny.
It is quite funny.
I just appreciate a good sarcastic comment.
Mm. hmm
So then Ron, that's like when what sends Ron over the edge, and Neville as well.
Mm.
So Malfoy and Ron are like fighting each other, and, and then Neville like takes on Crabbe and Goyle like single-handedly. This means that Ron doesn't see what happens, but Hermione does, and she tells everyone that Harry's caught the snitch.
Woo.
Woohoo! So it was like one of the shortest matches ever. It says, here we go. The stands erupted. It had to be a record. No one could ever remember the snitch being caught so quickly. And Harry obviously is pleased because A, they're ahead of Slytherin now. B, he hasn't been murdered by Snape. But C, he has this nice little thought. No one could say he was just a famous name anymore. Which I think it's a nice little insight as to how Harry thinks about himself in terms of being a famous person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, we've talked about this a little bit before, but this is where it actually happens. Harry follows Snape into the Forbidden Forest silently on his broomstick. He's like trying to put his broomstick away, and he sees Snape, well, Quirrell first, and then Snape like
And being Harry,
chasing
he
him.
just can't keep it out of other people's
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. I mean, cue Harry in third year telling that to Snape.
And of course he keeps his abnormally large nose out of other people's business.
It's like, Harry, you can't really talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Bit regrettable, but
Yeah.
yeah, especially since it's actually the Marauders saying that. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, like, you literally made a map to make that possible. Yeah, so Harry, like, follows along with his broom, and hears a very awkward conversation. So I'll just read that. It starts off with Quirrell. "You don't know why you wanted to meet here, all of places, Severus?" "Oh, I thought we'd keep this private," said Snape, his voice icy. "Students aren't supposed to know about the Philosopher's Stone, after all." Harry leant forward. Quirrell was mumbling something. Snape interrupted him. "Have you found out how to get past that beast of Hagrid's yet?" But Severus, You don't want me as your enemy, Quirrell," said Snape, taking a step towards him. I don't know what you know perfectly well what I mean." And then an owl hooted loudly, and Harry nearly fell out of the tree. And he just about catches Snape saying, "Your little bit of hocus pocus. I'm waiting." And then there's a bit that's taken pretty much out of the book as well. In the film, he says, "We'll have another little chat soon, when you've had time to think over and decide where your loyalties lie." I like that. I love that line in the film.
Yeah,
Alan
Alan
Rickman.
Rickman just delivers his
Yeah.
lines. Every single one of them just perfect.
Yeah, I agree. He's just perfect for that role.
Yeah.
I think it was a really good decision on Joe's part to like tell him everything from the beginning as well.
Yeah.
As an author, I think I would be tempted not to, but
Hmm.
I think it was a good decision.
Yeah.
Because I think he really added that to his character.
For sure.
So obviously that has happened way earlier in the film, but it's still very similar. Harry then immediately tells Hermione and Ron, obviously. And they basically realise, they speculate and they kind of snowball into this idea that because they're perpetually in the idea of, well, they're thinking so much in terms of Snape being the bad guy, that they can't really see it for what it really is, or they can't really see the actual, like, any other way for it to be.
Yeah.
I think it's quite interesting to read this from that perspective of like knowing what they're actually talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, they see it as like, oh well, Quirrell is trying to protect the stone, and Snape is like trying to bully information out of Quirrell. And Ron kind of sums it up. Oh no, Hermione sums it up, and Ron actually. They have a good team effort to close off this chapter really satisfyingly. So it says,
Ooh, Hermione.
yeah, there we go. It says, "So you mean the stone's only safe as long as Quirrell stands up to Snape?" said Hermione in alarm. "It'll be gone by next Tuesday," said Ron. And that's where the chapter ends, and that's where I hand over to you, Lucy Lou.
Thank you very much.
Do people
Righty.
still call you Lucy Lou?
No, it is part of my Snapchat username though, because I set it up when I was 12.
Nice.
No, not really.
I remember
Although,
being like semi-annoyed when your mum used to call you Lucy Lou. Was it? Did your mum call you Lucy Lou? Maybe that's my mum calling me Libby Lou, because I was Libby Lou as well. What is it with mums adding Lou's onto everything?
Lou, yeah, my year 6 teacher did it all the time as well. But it really annoyed me because she would do it to like all the other girls too.
Everyone.
But I was actually Lucy Lou. My middle name's Louisa. So whenever
that's true.
people would do it to other names who weren't whatever it was, Lou,
You're like,
I
"Oh,
was
that
like,
doesn't make any sense."
There was a phase where like everyone's username on Instagram was like their name and then Lou. And I was like, I bet that's not your real name.
Yeah. I mean, even my brother was like Andy Roo. Not Andy Lou, but Andy Roo.
Right.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very strange. Anyway,
Sorry.
Norwegian Ridgeback. Okay. Cute. Okay. I never know how to segue into the next section. Here we are. We're talking about it. Cool. Okay. The gang.
That's a great segue.
Thanks. I think that was really natural. The gang has been encouraging Quirrell and keeping an eye on Snape and Fluffy.
I always love this bit. When they're like literally encouraging the person with Voldemort on the back of his head. Like,
yeah, they're being like, it's alright. You can do it.
Yeah.
We believe in you. The first years need to study for their exams because they need good marks in order to get into their second year. Do you think this is one of those things that's kind of like, it's not actually that serious and it's just first years being like, oh, we're going to fail, we're going to get help?
yeah,
and, like,
because surely Crab and
it's
Goyle
not
wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah, like I feel like it's one of those things that like if you get awful marks, maybe Max went a bit northern. Anyway, if you get awful marks, like you might get held back, but like it's not that serious.
Yeah.
Like I remember year 7 exams, and we were all like, "Oh my gosh, they're really important," and like they were the most,
arbitrary,
unimportant things in our whole life. Yeah. So it always makes me feel quite, I don't know, nostalgic.
Yeah, I think like exam culture, I don't know about any other country, but in England, exam culture is a bit strange in that there's quite a lot of weight put on them, but at the same time there's not actually a lot of weight on them.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, so like at the start of each year, or sometimes in certain schools in each term, you usually have a little preliminary test to see like what set you're going to be in. So like, will you be with all of the smart people in maths, or will you be with the not so smart people in maths? And that means that you'll get the support you need or don't need in your schooling. I think sometimes, like J.K. Rowling's like every exams after every year is probably from that kind of attitude of like, you just have exams, like that's just what you do.
Yeah.
I do.
Let's not talk about the British school system. That's a whole other.
Oh dear. Yeah. Let's just
episode.
say we neither me or Lucy have very particularly good opinions about that subject. I don't know to what extent your bad opinions are about it, but mine are incredibly negative. I actually really wanted to move to where do they have a really good, I can't remember now, but I learned about a country that had really amazing schooling. Anyway, I really wanted to move there. I was like, at least they would have a really good school system. Anyway, so yeah, I sometimes think that J.K. Rowling, that's where she got that from. But I do seem to remember that in the second book, they're like, oh, unfortunately, Crabbe and Goyle manage to get through or something. Or in the third book, because they, spoilers, they don't have exams. Or do they have exams at the end of this year?
No,
Can't remember.
second year exams are cancelled.
Yes, that's true. Yes, so it must be...
All exams have been cancelled.
Oh, no!
Yeah. Okay, to be topical here, I always watched that film and we were all like laughing, being like, oh, ha ha ha, how funny, like, she's disappointed that exams are cancelled, isn't that so funny and quirky?
Yeah.
Really disappointed. And then
But,
when the exams were cancelled this year, I was fuming. I was so angry.
Yeah, because it's like,
that
well,
my exams
like,
were cancelled.
what was the point of any of that I've just done
work.
this whole year?
Yeah.
Yeah, but at least you've got coursework. But if you're the type of person that's not really, I mean,
A coursework person.
I don't know about you, but
yeah,
if you're the type of person
the exam is what I mean. My whole course was cancelled, so it didn't really matter.
yeah.
But yeah. Oh, anyway.
I mean,
anyway.
I would have loved that because I'm terrible at exams, but I don't want to like praise myself too much. But I was amazing at coursework. Like I got A's and B's in my coursework, which for me, like an average, like C average student, is incredible. But then in my exams, I got like D's and E's, so they always like scoop
Average
together
fell.
into a C.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's probably why she has exams there. It is weird though. It's like you need this to get into second year.
I feel like it's the kind of thing that it's like the students are like, we have to pass it to get into our next year.
And
It's
not
like, dude, calm down, Harry. Like,
Yeah.
it's, what you chatting? What's going on here?
Well, you don't need to tell Harry to calm down. It's more Hermione.
Yeah, that's true. They see Hagrid in a library and they confront him about what else might be guarding the stone, but he tells them to meet him in his house later, so he doesn't want them rabbiting about it in the library.
I love the way Hagrid talks.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Every time I've... Oh, turning the page. Every time I've tried to, like, get someone to read Harry Potter out to me, nobody can do Hagrid's voice. No one.
No.
It's so hard.
Not even, what's his name? Stephen Fry?
Oh, yeah. He's not very good at it.
No.
Yeah. But Robbie Coltrane, like, how...
reads audiobooks, in case people aren't aware.
But Robbie Coltrane managed to do it.
He's the only one.
Yeah.
The only one.
Maybe
He is
that's
Hagrid.
why J.K. Rowling wanted it. She's like, he's the only one that can do that voice.
Yeah. No one else will work.
Yeah.
They audition everyone and it's just like, you know what,
You can't do the voice.
Because you're the only one who can do this voice. They find out that Hagrid was looking up dragons in the library.
Dun dun dun.
And Ron reveals that there are dragons in Britain. What? But it's illegal to own one, so it's fine. No worries. It's chill because they're all wild. At Hagrid's hut. That, like, what
I know,
Imagine being a muggle born.
Well,
this kid's like, oh yeah,
you
there
know,
are dragons.
Harry's reaction, I'm with him here. And Harry's like, but there aren't wild dragons in Britain, said Harry. Like, he's like absolutely mystified
Yeah.
by it. And like, why wouldn't you be? It's like when you learn in the Harry Potter universe that giants are in Britain. Oh no, or Europe. I think they're in Europe.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but still, like, giants exist. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess at that point they're just like, you know what? Sure, that, you know, makes sense.
Yeah, like, well, I'm already a wizard. Like, what really can
Nothing
surprise me? Yeah.
now, yeah. At Hagrid's hut, Hermione flatters Hagrid into telling them who else is guarding the stone. Let me just find that bit.
This bit is absolutely crazy. I always forget that Hermione does this.
She's so sneaky. She says, oh, come on, Hagrid. You might not want to tell us, but you do know. You know everything that goes on around here, said Hermione in a warm, flattering voice. Hagrid's beard twitched, and they could tell he was smiling. We only wondered who had done the guarding, really, Hermione went on. We wondered who Dumbledore had trusted enough to help him, apart from you. Hagrid's chest swelled at these last words. Harry and Ron beamed at Hermione.
12
It's
years
like,
old.
what a... I
What a
don't know what the word
legend.
is for that. What a legend. Yeah, there we go. That works. She's so smart. I love Hermione.
Yeah, but like,
Um,
that's, I don't know what the word is for that. Like, cons? Is she conning
Cunning?
Harry? At Hagrid?
It's kind of a bit Slytherin, isn't it?
It is
The way
very
she's like,
slithering.
she's like kind of manipulating him, but
Yeah.
like in a good way.
Yeah.
Nicely manipulating him.
It's like Hufflepuff manipulation.
Yeah. In the book and film, what Hagrid says about Snape is very, very similar. In the book, he says, "Yeah, you're not still on about that, are you? Look, Snape helped protect the stone. He's not about to steal it."
He's not about to steal it.
And in the film, it's kind of the same.
Yeah, he's like,
Snape was one of the teacher's protection.
yeah,
They wouldn't stoop. It's
basically the
kind
same.
of gist.
Yeah.
Um,
That's why I wrote way more down this time, because we're covering more ground in this episode, because as we get to the most important bits, the film is getting way
It
more
kind
and
of-
more accurate.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it kind of has to be.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly.
This is when they see the dragon egg.
Dum dum dum.
Interesting.
What kind of dragon could be in there? I wonder.
Well, Hagrid's line is again taken almost word for word from the film. Won it, said Hagrid. Last night I was down in the village having a few drinks and got into a game of cards with a stranger. I think he was quite glad to get rid of it, to be honest. Yeah, because it's a dragon and it's illegal. And it's a dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear. He's like, oh, I don't know why anyone would want to get rid of a dragon egg. Like,
Isn't it
crazy.
You didn't want this illegal creature that breathes fire?
Yeah.
Madness. And then, speaking of breathing fire, we have Hermione's comment. Hagrid, you live in a wooden house, she said. But Hagrid wasn't listening. He was humming merrily as he stoked the fire.
That reminds me of, I was literally just reminded of Uncle Vernon, like, humming Tiptoe Through the Tulips whilst trying to hammer with a fruitcake.
Yeah, same energy.
Yeah.
In the book, instead of Norbert hatching right there and then, they have to wait for a bit. Oh, what a shame. Ron says in the book, "Wonder what it's like to have a peaceful life." Which,
Yeah, like,
if only that poor boy knew.
yeah.
I often wonder what Ron. I see a lot of Tumblr posts of like Ron speaking, being like, "I just wanted to go to Hogwarts and make some friends and do some magic." Like, I often wonder what Ron would be like if he just sat next to some other random kid.
Yeah, like if he
Yeah.
was in with Dean and Seamus.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, even Dean and Seamus are kind of involved. Like, it's
Kind
just someone
of.
like completely random
yeah.
who had nothing to do with Harry. You know?
Yeah. Like in
Um,
Hufflepuff or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. Like if they were in like 2 years apart or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
It's weird. When they in the book, when they get the note from Hagrid saying that the egg is hatching, Ron wanted to skip herbology, but Hermione made them wait until morning break. Harry notices that Malfoy had caught some of their argument. Whoops. So then they go down to Hagrid's hut, see what's up. The film gets the quote funny clicking noise that comes from the egg, as it's described in the book.
Yeah.
Well, very well.
Yeah, so
It reminds me of. Have you seen A Quiet Place?
A Quiet Place. No, I haven't.
Okay, it kind of reminds me of that.
Oh, okay. Is there a monster that like clicks?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is that no? I was gonna say that's not that. Is that the one with where they all have to like wear blindfolds or something?
No, that was the Netflix ripoff.
Oh, right, okay. But it's like the same kind of thing.
It's the same kind of thing.
Right.
It's like that, but you can't talk.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Oh, wow. No, I wrote that down because I I couldn't really remember how it happened in the film, like
Mm.
when Norbert started hatching.
Mm.
Well, Norberta. Um,
Mm. Spoilers.
and so I watched it, and when Hagrid like goes over to the fire, it's because like Norbert is like click click click, click like
Mm.
tapping on the egg.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, and I just thought that
Gonna
was
come out.
nice. Yeah, that was nice that they
Mm.
included
Yeah. It's nice when they
that.
have details like that that's not,
Yeah,
like you almost don't realise, but like they
yeah.
have obviously,
Thought about
kind of
it.
studied the book a little bit more than you first think.
Yeah, yeah. Because like
Um,
you would have thought that it would be more like thumping or something, or
yeah.
yeah, just
Something a
cracking
bit
the
scary, maybe. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But it's kind of like it kind of sounds like you're just kind of tapping the edge of a tin.
Yeah. It's
Um,
quite polite, isn't it, for a dragon?
yeah.
Yeah, the scene in general is very accurate to the
Mm.
book and the film. And Hagrid spots Malfoy watching at the window. Who's that? Um,
I just thought actually, that tapping could be the egg shaking and it tapping on the side of the pan that he has it in. So I
mm,
could be completely
that's
wrong.
true. That's true.
I don't know.
Hmm. So in the film, Malfoy is watching the scene and couldn't care less about the very illegal dragon that is hatching in front of his eyes, and instead just wants the trio to be punished for being out late at night. In the book, however, the trio are worried that I don't know what is it. The trio are worried that he will report the dragon.
It's
So they
like
try and
how
convince.
Tom from Extra Slice.
That's exactly what I was thinking. The trio are worried that um, they're worried that he'll report the dragon, so they try and convince Hagrid to set Norbert free. But Hagrid won't because he's worried that Norbert will die.
I guess I never thought about the fact that in the film, dragons aren't illegal. Oh, well, they could be, but it's never said.
Ah, that's true.
Hmm.
That's true. I didn't think about that. It's never, yeah. It's just like, oh, it's dangerous. It's not
Hmm.
like, oh, you're gonna go to wizard jail. The wizard cops are gonna get you.
Damn those withered
Damn
caps.
those wizard cops. Yeah, no, I never thought. I always forget that the information that is divulged in the books is not always in the films,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. Um, in the end, they managed to convince, in the book, they managed to convince Hagrid to give Norbert to Ron's brother, Charlie, who works with dragons in Romania. How fun and cool is that? The best
I love
Weasley, for
Charlie.
sure. Yeah, I wish he was in the films.
Hmm.
It makes me so sad. I mean, I guess he technically is in that like one photo of them in Egypt, but it doesn't
Yeah,
really
but
count.
you can't really pick who's who. Like, it's really annoying.
Yeah, it is very annoying. But I guess when do you see him in the book really? Besides like random times when all the Weasleys are together. But like, surely they could just hire some other one random other actor and just have him
Yeah.
like be there and like say hi.
Hmm.
Anyway, it really makes me upset because I love Charlie so much.
Yeah, I wish
And
he
just
was in
all
the
the
books
Weasleys.
more as well, actually, though.
Yeah. We don't
It's
really
like
know
you
anything
say, you
about
don't
him.
really get him a lot.
He's just kind of present when all the Weasleys are there.
Hmm.
Yeah, anyway. Ron, another great Weasley. Ron gets bitten by Norbert while helping Hagrid to feed him, which is unfortunate. And then we have Charlie's answer to their request to take away Norbert, which reads, "Dear Ron, how are you? Thanks for the letter. I'd be glad to take the Norwegian bridge back, but it won't be easy getting him here. I think the best thing will be to send him over with some friends of mine who are coming to visit me next week. Trouble is, they mustn't be seen carrying an illegal dragon. Could you get the Ridgeback up the tallest tower at midnight on Saturday? They can meet you there and take him away whilst it's still dark. Send me an answer as soon as possible. Love, Charlie.
That's all very convenient.
Yeah, very nice. Very, maybe too convenient. No, yeah, it's very nice. Very, very cool. Very fun. Ron has no choice but to go to Madame Pomfrey with his bit in hand, as the cat has turned a nasty shade of green. Doesn't he say that a dog bit him?
Yeah, he tries to fob it off as a dog bite, which is like, why?
Where's the dog? What
well,
dog?
like, he could say that, well, I'm friends with
wild
Hagrid,
dogs.
and it was Fang.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Or, like, one of my friends is an animator.
But shh, don't tell anyone. Sirius Black. Don't tell.
Sirius Black from the future.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, came with Hermione from the future. Could you imagine? Anyway, Ron says that Malfoy came to borrow one of his books just to come and have a good laugh at him. And Ron realises that the note from Charlie was in the book, so Malfoy knows the plan. But they have no choice but to go through with the plan because it's already set up.
Yeah, no
and at
time.
least Malfoy doesn't know about the invisibility cloak. I mean, that's a rookie error. Like, what?
I know.
Why have you got it just tucked in a book?
I know. Like, put it under your pillow or something.
Yeah, or like rip it up. And
Like,
shred it.
there's
set it on
fires
fire.
all over that castle.
Yeah, literally just put it in a fire. Instead of being like, oh yes, that illegal dragon your friend has. Yes, I'll meet you. Like, what? So, yeah, they go down to Hagrid's to get Norbert. And it
I think they
says
like tell. This is a bit where they tell him about Charlie's letter. They're just kind of visiting him.
Yeah, it says when they told him about Charlie's letter, his eyes filled with tears. Although that might have been because Norbert had just bitten him on the leg. Oh yeah, so they're just telling him about the plan. And it says the baby banged its tail on the wall, making the windows rattle. Harry and Hermione walked back to the castle, feeling sad they couldn't come quickly enough. I don't blame you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is something that always bugs me in the film, like, but I never really questioned it. Like, what happened to the dragon? Like, there's a dragon there. Like, it doesn't just disappear. But I think what you don't know is how fast dragons, like, grow. I think probably that what they were hoping people would assume is that in the film, they were hoping people would think, well, dragons probably don't grow that fast, so you can just kind of set it free in the forest or something. Yeah. If you can hear clicking and clacking in the background, by the way, it's a dragon. It's definitely not my dragon, although his Chinese zodiac sign is the dragon. So there you go. It's Roman on his computer. So
it's a lot less interesting, but
it's a lot less interesting. I said it's definitely not a dragon. Did I say my dragon?
You did say my dragon.
Oh no, Lucy said
dragon.
it's my dragon. Oh no. I didn't mean to say my. I meant to say a.
It's fine. It sounds kind of funny because it sounds like you're insinuating that you do have a dragon.
Yeah, that we have a pet dragon somewhere. So, I don't have a dragon.
Okay. Just to clarify.
Yeah, just to clarify.
If the police ask, I don't have a dragon.
Yeah, I'm not harbouring any illegal reptiles.
For legal reasons, that is the true story. So, yeah, one of my favourite things about this whole dragon ordeal is that Hagrid gives Norbert a teddy.
I know! Oh, that's just so Hagrid. It's like when he tries to put pillows in with the blast-ended screws.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So, as Harry and Hermione carry Norbert to the tallest tower, they hear McGonagall giving Malfoy attention because she thought the story about Hagrid having a dragon and Harry and Hermione taking it up to the tallest tower was a lie.
I
Which,
mean,
I
who
don't
wouldn't?
blame her. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds
Um,
like a whole truck of nonsense.
yeah. Yeah. When they get to the top of the tower, Hermione said, Malfoy's got an attention. I could sing. Don't, Harry advised her. um,
I don't know
which
why I
is good
find that so
advice.
funny. Don't.
I always read it in that tone as well. It's not like a don't, haha. I always read it as don't. Like,
Yeah, why?
what? No. Um,
Shut up.
yeah, please do not do that.
Could you imagine,
Everything.
like, just belting one out at the top of the tallest tower?
But yeah, so they give the dragon to Charlie's friends. It's all going great, and everything seemed too good to be true. But just as they were merrily trotting back to the common room, Filch saw them, and they realised that they had left the invisibility cloak at the top of the tower.
Dun dun dun.
That's not too good.
Where's the invisibility cloak? Oh, I put it on that magical walking chair over there. Oh, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, well, there we go.
There we
finished
go.
off that section. The Marauders map will be staying closed today, as we haven't gone anywhere new. So
We don't need Mooney.
I've been
Pudford. Padfoot. No. Oh, I
we
can't.
will not be
understand
solemnly swearing that we are up to no good.
Yeah.
I've been reading through like, oh, there must be some, but like they just took like besides the tallest
that.
tower, which I mean,
Which they don't
like,
have that scene in the book, in the
No.
film.
So yeah.
There's nothing to say.
No.
What is there
indeed.
anything we can like? I don't think we even need to say anything. But is there anything that any cool location? You know, I was always really confused about you know, in the sixth film when Harry's like got the RAB locket and Hermione
Yes.
and Ron are like having a moment and
Oh yeah.
like, is that in Dumbledore's office? Like, or is that in a different tower? I'm always very confused by that. Because, like, Dumbledore, that's in the same place that Dumbledore
Dumbledore dies.
dies? Is that right?
I
And
thought it
that's
was
the astronomy tower, right?
Astronomy, not astronomy. Tower.
But then, like, I always hear things like, oh, it's Dumbledore's office or something. I don't know.
No. I just thought they went back up to the astronomy tower just for the lols.
Yeah. Anyway, that's
To
not
have a nice
important.
view, just to make a nice shot.
Speaking of locations, actually, on my last holiday, I went.
Oh.
Well, we went. It's not just me. I didn't just leave Roman and Matilda. We went to Goathland Station.
No way.
Yeah, and we rode the train. So we rode like the proper steam train from
So cool.
Grossmont Station. We started there because that was the closest one to us, and then it was like a 15-minute journey to Goathland.
So cool.
Yeah, and then we had like a little bit of like a half an hour break, and then 15 minutes back, and we had our own little carriage as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That
It
is
was
super
only if you know, we have some Brits. I mean, I'm still like not under the impression that only our mums are listening, but but I know actually that one person I know through church, although I'm not sure whether I've ever actually physically met her because of coronavirus, etc. But I know her through church. It's a very nice person. I can't remember her name now. It's really awkward. But I know she started listening. So anyway, that's unrelated. If we have any Brits listening who want to do that, it's actually, I mean, it's quite expensive for like going on a journey, but for having an experience of like riding a proper steam train, I think it's a very good price. That our journey, so we got a carriage to our, like a compartment to ourselves, like Harry and Ron have. We did 15 minutes there and 15 minutes back, and it was in a proper steam train, and that cost £30.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, I
It's
thought
like
it would
for
be
all
way
of you.
more. Yeah, for all of us together.
Wow.
If you have a group of 6 people, it's exactly the same actually.
Oh, so you pay for the
You pay for
compartment.
the compartment really, yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a really good little thing to do. It's just such a nice experience to have.
Mm.
Although you shouldn't stick your head out of the window without wearing glasses, because Roman did, and he got a bit of a tiny bit of like burnt coal in his eye.
Oh.
Um,
Oh dear.
yeah, and that obviously that really hurt him for a while. So,
Mm.
so don't do that.
Mm.
But
Good advice.
yeah, wear sunglasses if you want to do that, or wear normal glasses. So yeah, but it's a really amazing experience.
Mm.
Yeah, so highly recommended. And the little the station, Gotham Station, it's so good. I don't think it's
Yeah.
changed really. I
Mm.
couldn't really tell.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, and we were in a carriage that on the outside it was like Gothland to King's Cross. On the outside, yeah.
That's
I don't
super
know why
cool.
that's a bit. It wasn't the Hogwarts Express that we were
Yeah.
riding. It wasn't like for Harry Potter.
Mhm.
In fact, I thought there'd be like loads of Harry Potter stuff. Thought they'd want to like really cash in on it.
Yeah.
And there wasn't, and I wasn't disappointed or anything.
Mm.
But
I
there
feel like it's
was,
almost better when it feels
yeah, like more
you know,
real, yeah.
yeah.
Although my mum had told me about a Harry Potter shop, and I was kind of disappointed not to. We couldn't find it.
Mm.
We didn't really see it even. But there's another show that is set in the town of Gothland.
Mhm.
I think it's what is it? Heartbeat. Heartbeat. They were like
Oh.
way proud of Heartbeat because like the whole of Heartbeat is set in the
Yeah.
village and not just like
Right.
one 30-second
One
scene.
shot. Yeah.
Well, I believe. I'm not sure if that's entirely correct, but yeah,
Right.
a lot of Heartbeat is in there.
Yeah.
So, like a lot of their little shops is like, oh, get your Heartbeat merch. And I was like, it was so weird to me, like,
As being there for
yeah,
Harry
being there
Potter.
for Harry Potter and be
Yeah.
like, a Heartbeat, what's that? So yeah, that's really cool. That's a worthwhile one to go to.
Mm.
And it's a really
Nice.
lovely area as well. Very nice part of Yorkshire.
Mm.
So nice to holiday there. Anyway. There we go. That can be our
Nice.
Marauders
Cool. There we
map
go.
section.
Cool.
Alright, so I guess that concludes this episode of Potterwatch from page to screen.
Keep twiddling those dials. Keep each other safe. Keep faith.
Good
Good
night. So he's been like, are you alright?
What happened was I unplugged the glue gun. Thought I picked up the plug of the charger, but I just picked up the plug of the glue gun and plugged the glue gun back in.